Aloha.
Shout out Pearl Harbor, by the way. Hello and welcome. We're back from theballerlifestyle.com. It's the Baller Lifestyle Podcast. My name is Ryan Beckner. This is episode number 617 of the show. We appreciate you listening. Thank you. Think about subscribing to our Patreon, patreon.com/theballerlifestyle podcast. Every week, Ed and I, we wrap up the show here for the regular listeners, but we continue doing more show only for our Patreon subscribers. And you can only get that if you subscribe there, patreon.com/theballerlifestyle podcast. Additionally, each and every week I do a solo show there. Bonus Bri. There's a new episode up there now, another one dropping this week. Again, this is only for subscribers to our Patreon, patreon.com/theballerlifestyle podcast. You can also call us 949-464-TBLS, and you can send us an email, mailbag@theballerlifestyle.com. We appreciate you. I'm joined now, as always, by Mr. Ed Daly. Ed, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great.
What's happening?
I have some terrible news. I have just some of the worst news I could ever break to you.
Oh, no.
So you know how there's every year it seems like there's an Olympics. We just finish an Olympics and another Olympics starts. And
I know this summer there's going to be
another Olympic. We just had a fucking Olympics.
There's a World Cup.
Oh, World Cup. That's the other thing. But the only thing that happened more often than the Olympics and the World Cup is the Women's World Cup. There's a Women's World Cup every 9 months. It's nothing but Women's World Cups. But I've realized, Ed, that there is something that happens way more often than even those two things, and it's way more irritating, and it's going on right now, this moment. I just saw on my phone. It's the Met Gala. The Met Gala is happening.
We talked
right
about
now.
this 2 months ago.
I know. It's nothing but Met. And I open my phone, and it's Lena Dunham, and Lena Dunham's there.
Here's Coleman Domingo dressed like a peacock, and I'm like, I kind of know that guy, but like, what?
Katy Perry's wearing a Daft Punk mask. Ed,
cool. She's going to the moon for 2 seconds.
Yes, Great. She goes on a penis rocket. All of the most insufferable people are in the same place, New York City, right now at the Met. They're doing something. It's expensive. And then also, like, Jimmy Butler's there. Why is Jimmy Butler there?
But isn't this kind of run by the Devil Wears Prada lady?
Vogue. Yes, it is. It has something to do with Vogue.
That lady who's mean to everyone, and like they made a movie about her, and like I don't.
Yes.
know.
Okay, I have one more thing that I saw just before we started the show.
Okay. And
it's just like, or it doesn't matter what station you reach in life. A lot of us we're all human beings.
Sure.
So I see here that Zoë Kravitz, who I happen to just be a massive fan of. She is.
I'm glad you said that. I was afraid you were going to say you don't like her. I'm a fan.
Love her. I find her very attractive. I also find she's a good actress.
Dad, even though I'm not like a big fan of his music.
Gorgeous.
I love the dude.
He's great. How about that time? Remember that one time he
exploded on the scene.
He did. I'm not talking. No, I'm not talking about
the leather pants.
No, I'm not talking about his dick reveal on stage. One time he's real good at getting his picture taken. And one time he was walking down the street in New York City, Manhattan, and he had the biggest scarf you've ever seen. It was like a blanket. And I think he had no shirt on. He had just the scarf. And then another time he was walking down the street and he was talking on the phone. And it was old school handset phone, but it was plugged into his phone. Yeah, and
I don't know that one. I remember the giant scarf.
Yeah,
he's in his mom's. Jeffersons were in New York City, so like, he's got to make a big show of New York City.
He's a New Yorker.
But I don't know about this. He had a landline.
He had a landline handset like we used to have when we were kids, but it was connected to his iPhone.
Stretching it out from the kitchen so you could hide in the dining room so your mom wouldn't hear what you're talking about.
I'm sure it's available on the internet. He lives in New York City, Ed, but he has to live in Brazil, like out in the wilds of Brazil, because the hordes of ravenous poon.
Still gorgeous.
Yeah, they're always after him. So he's like, I have to go to a place where no puss can try to attack my beautiful penis. So I have to go to the wilds of Brazil where they won't find me. I'm out in the wilderness of Brazil, the jungle.
I often think of David Spade's stand-up special from the late 90s where he's
first HBO special,
where he's like, if Lenny Kravitz has to run to 7-Eleven, he's like, do I have to put on the bamboo shirt?
Yeah, leather pants.
Like
bamboo
that
shirt.
Guy can't just roll out in gym shorts and a t-shirt.
Can't look normal. So anyway, his daughter, Zoë Kravitz, who was fantastic recently on The Studio, playing herself.
Yes,
on The Studio. She was so good on that. So funny.
Seth Rogen wanted to be thanked.
Yes. Yeah. So
it was Golden Globes, right?
Yeah, I was at the Golden Globes. Yeah, he just wanted to thank you. She's so amazing, and she was good. They rebooted High Fidelity during COVID. They made a TV show of High.
I watched it.
Yeah, it was good, but then they didn't make a second season, and she really wanted to do a second season. But anyway, she's great. So apparently, she's getting married to Harry Styles, which I didn't.
Very good looking.
Sure, I didn't know they were a couple. I'm not too up on who's a couple. I thought Harry Styles was a couple with Olivia Wilde because I remember Olivia Wilde was had kids with Jason Sudeikis.
And Ted
right?
Lasso.
And this homewrecker, Harry Styles, comes along. She directs a movie with Harry Styles. They start a love affair.
Doomed,
yes.
Yeah, there was a whole controversy about that.
Yes, there was. And so I thought they were together. Well, they're not. This Zoë Kravitz is getting married to...
Man, those are going to be some good-looking kids if they...
Right.
Yeah.
But apparently, she was previously romantically involved with Channing Tatum. And
also
now...
good-looking.
Very handsome. And now Channing Tatum has found out about the engagement, and he's posting... lovelorn. So he's subtweeting her. Ed, remember subtweeting? He's subtweeting her on Instagram.
So I don't know everybody's dimensions, but Tatum
I'm about 6
feels like he's pretty thick. And Harry Styles, while beautiful, feels like probably not filling the void the same way.
So if a lot of women, if Zoë Kravitz is the type,
Tatum's like a big thick dude.
He's Magic Mike. Like Zoë Kravitz, if she's the type that likes to be tossed around, as many women are, they like to be tossed around, they like to be balled up. And this Channing Tatum, he can accomplish that.
Sure.
Whereas this, I knew somebody. I knew somebody who knew somebody. I'm not going to say too much, okay?
Fair.
I knew somebody who told me that the person they knew went on a date with somebody that I happen to consider to be a fucking musical genius, like somebody that I think is really amazing. And they said this guy,
Bobby McFerrin?
Yes, it was Bobby. It was actually Bobby. I can't believe you got it on the first guess, Ed.
I know.
They went on a date with this person, and he's a littler guy, right? And he's on a date with a woman, and he's like, "Ooh, could you get the door for me? Could you open that door for?
Oh no!
Hey, would you mind? Could you chair? Could you pull out the chair to go to dinner?" He's like, "Could you pull out my chair, my back? Oh, my shopping bags. I have a couple shopping bags. I need you to carry these for me." And I'm like, I don't care how many fucking Grammy Awards you win, how many musical masterpieces you've made, if you're not acting like a man with a woman.
He didn't win a Grammy when he was 3. Like you grow up. Like You grow up and know there are certain parts of society.
Well, you got to do it. Yes. Yeah. So look, this Channing Tatum, and listen to the shit he's writing, Ed, because he is. Look, I'm seeing a picture.
I'm worried about this.
Look at the just what you're talking about here, Ed. Look at the size differential between the two of them. Broad chest. He's a big dude. And listen,
he was blowing her back out.
He really was. Listen, he's posting poetry on his Instagram. Ed, my brain and heart divorced a decade ago over who was to blame about how big of a mess I have become. Eventually, they couldn't be in the same room with each other.
Well, first of all, it's terrible, but the main point is he definitely was to blame.
Of course, Ed. Of course.
It's who can know who's to blame? You don't say that. You were to blame.
Look. Here's what happened.
He fucked a waitress.
Of course he did.
At the Wynn in Vegas.
Yes. Yes. Ed.
And he's like, who could know who's to blame? Who could know?
I didn't think she would find out, and it's like, and then I thought she'd get over it, and now she's marrying Harry Styles, and I'm over here writing poetry. He posted another one. He posted another picture of a fighter with a bruised face. Hold on, with the caption. I already know. I lost it. Yeah.
Tell this, but I know why he's doing all this.
Oh, okay. He said he posted a picture featuring a female fighter with a bruised and bloody face admitting, quote, didn't go the way I wanted. Okay, what were you going to say?
Okay, the reason why he's doing this, because this feels very bitch.
Yeah.
But this is some because Harry Styles undeniably is good looking.
Oh, he's gorgeous.
But he's also famous for pushing gender norms. He wears dresses and stuff. So Tatum's like, I'm a big, thick guy. I should probably talk about like poetry and shit because he's Styles wears dresses.
He's getting sensitive.
He's getting sensitive to try to win her back. Right?
This is great analysis. Yes, of course. You see right through it. I'm so glad we discussed this. I almost didn't bring it up, but I just felt like you would have some insight here. And you're exactly right. This is and this is the other thing. Like she's with this burly dude that's, tossing her around, throwing her in the spin cycle, just slamming her every which way to Sunday. Right. And now she's like, maybe instead I'll be with somebody who's British,
gentle,
British. Yeah, sweet. He speaks softly. He comes to bed in a night dress. He
speaks wistfully of the West End.
Okay, that's all we had to do there. Let's talk about some people who died. Oh, played the other song. Well, the Who Died song gets us kicked off YouTube every time. So let's do this one.
Rest in peace. You won't laugh no more.
No laughter.
You won't smile no more.
What else are you gonna do?
You won't laugh no more.
Oh, laugh again.
Back to the laughter.
No
and then you won't.
So dearly departed. We hope you rest in peace.
Really hits the note there. Ed, who died this week?
Well, speaking of good-looking dudes, R.I.P. Patrick Muldoon, Days of Our Lives, Melrose Place actor, 57, heart attack.
I have to admit,
Widowmaker, right?
Probably 57 years old. That's too young to go. I would get him confused with the other guy on Baywatch, David Chokachi. But he was more handsome than Patrick Muldoon. I remember Patrick Muldoon. He was on Days, and I believe he was hooked up with Bobby, who was played by the lady with the big lips that's married to Harry from LA Law.
My goodness, why do I?
Harry.
Yeah. Harry Hamlin. But who is she?
Lisa Rinna.
Lisa Rinna with each year, her lips get bigger and bigger.
Bigger.
It's too much, Lisa.
It's too much lip. Howard Stern gave her a sharp talking to about her lips 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And the lips have only increased in size, the lips.
She looks like Madam now.
Waylon Flowers Madam, yes.
Yeah. R.I.P. Patrick. R.I.P. someone who's very special to me, Monty Coleman, 3 times Super Bowl winning linebacker with the Redskins, 68 years old.
Yeah.
When I first played Pop Warner football in 3rd grade, I picked number 51 because Monty Coleman was 51. So I loved Monty.
Yeah.
Loved him.
Was he a Bruin, Monty Coleman?
No, he was like the Arkansas Pine Bluff or one of those random
small college.
But R.I.P. Monty.
Yeah. I was reading a whole article today about who's the guy, Trinidad Chambliss.
Oh, the guy who wants like a 14th year of eligibility.
And he's going to get it. He's going to get it. He's going to get it. And because the NCAA has no case. The whole reason.
Pretty good. He's pretty good.
The whole reason that they're not allowing him the extra, because he has a reason. Like he missed a year of eligibility because he had like tonsillitis or something. Like there was something where he couldn't play, and it's documented. But the NCAA is like, no, because why? Because he got a big fat NIL deal to come back to Ole Miss, and if he went to the NFL, he wouldn't get nearly as much money. And the NCAA is like, this is bullshit. So I don't. I would think of him because he was like a small college guy that's like made his way to sort of the big time. Yeah.
All right. R.I.P. Dave Mason, rock and roll legend, Traffic co-founder, 79 years old.
Feeling all right. Not feeling too good myself.
Yeah. He was a big time.
Oh yeah,
rock dude.
Dave Mason. Yeah.
Okay. I hope you're sitting down. I see you're sitting down, but R.I.P. Dave Mason. I'm sorry. R.I.P. Roger Sweet, creator of He-Man, 91, dementia. Now, I read the obit, said survived by his wife. He-Man?
Yeah. I mean, and maybe like adults who watch wrestling might want to like creep in, like get your earbuds plugged in a little bit here, because He-Man, first of all, He-Man, it was my era. Because I was about to say it was,
but I never was into He-Man.
No, it was dudes. It was
pretty gay.
It was super gay. They were like super jacked, and they were wearing like thongs.
And I remember
they were on another planet.
My cousin was into it. And I remember one of the guys was Ram Man. Like, come on.
Ram Man. Yeah, there's a Ram Man. I think there's like a lot of
Skeletor was the only cool one of those guys.
Yeah, but he was also jacked, and he was like an old queen. Yeah, he was the villain. But he was like a sassy old queen villain. And He-Man, he rode like a triceratops or something, and he's like naked.
Oiled up and shirtless.
Yes, greasy.
How is this guy survived by his wife?
Yeah, he was kind of stupid, like He-Man's kind of like he's a himbo. He-Man's a himbo. Yeah. He's got a Prince Valiant haircut, a bowl cut, and the fucking guy, and he's jacked, and he's in the thong. And this is for little kids to be interested in. Like, what the fuck was going on with He-Man?
I also read Roger Sweet was in charge of like Mattel. And he turned down the opportunity to do Star Wars toys, and it went to Kenner.
Yeah. Oh, huge mistake. Buddy. Huge mistake. Whoa. Clip that, by the way. Who else died, Ed?
R.P. Gwen Farrell, MASH star and ex-boxing referee, 93. I don't know who she is, but I respect that
lady boxing
flexibility in career.
Yeah,
But we've talked about it many times.
Yeah,
you're watching, reruns, and you heard that MASH theme song, and it was a scramble to change the channel.
Yeah, my stepdad liked two things. I think he liked Cheers too. He liked Cheers.
Oh, that's cool.
He liked the Laker game,
Okay.
And he liked that rerun of MASH that came on every night at 7:00. So we were locked in. Suicide is painless.
Yeah. So depressing.
Yeah, look, like they're drinking homemade gin in their tent, and then they're running off to do
Clingers.
Doing
some stuff.
Yes, Klinger was an early adopter of a completely different lifestyle. Radar was there. Look, I know. I watched every episode. I know the show.
I know too much about a show I hated.
Yeah. Hot Lips, not hot.
Yeah,
like Frank Burns. Other guys,
Aldo was good in other things, but like,
sure,
he was always crying.
He was sensitive. He was the original sensitive dude. Yeah. BJ Honeycutt. Let me ask you a question, because I never knew this. On the show MASH, there was a lot of
show that took place during the Korean War, but guys had late 70s haircuts.
Yeah, it was clearly about Vietnam, but it took place in Korea. So it was about Vietnam.
Shaggy haircuts. It's like nobody in the 50s had shaggy hair.
There were hippies. It was clearly about Vietnam, but they couldn't make it about Vietnam couldn't sell it to the network. His tent mate. Also, couldn't they build better structures? But like they didn't. I know it was a mobile hospital, but it never moved.
Yeah, it got steamy in those tents.
Yeah. His tent mate was a dude called Trapper John.
Oh, and they did a spinoff.
That's my question. Played by Wayne. Fuck. I can't remember. Wayne something. Then there was a show called Trapper John, which was both these shows were on CBS. There was a show called Trapper John MD starring Pernell Whitaker, who was the brother. Wait, not Pernell. Pernell Roberts. Pernell Roberts. It would have been better if it had Pernell. I would have watched it if Pernell Whitaker was a great southpaw. That was starring Pernell Roberts, who was one of the brothers on Bonanza, one of the Cartwright boys.
Oh, Michael Landon's brother.
Right. So now my question to you is, was he supposed to be the Trapper John from MASH, and that's his post-life?
I can't confirm. I just remember talk of that show existing and assuming it was a spinoff. But then there was also Hello Larry, which was a Different Strokes spinoff involving like the random dude who was on MASH.
Yeah, it was. Wait, that was connected to Different Strokes? Hello Larry?
Yeah, there was a crossover episode of Thanksgiving, I remember.
Oh my God, you're such an expert. He left. He was Colonel Henry Blake, and he left MASH. My buddy, his cousin was on this show on Hello Larry playing his daughter, and it'd be like, hey, maybe you could have. She moved to soft porn after. It's hard out there, Ed. That's tough. That's tough.
We always used to be like, hey, let's watch one of your cousin's movies. I heard she's in a movie. Let's look it up.
Yeah. Trapper John MD is an American medical drama television series and spin-off of the film MASH, Ed.
Oh.
Pernell Roberts portrayed the title character, a lovable surgeon who became a mentor and father figure in San Francisco.
How great would it have been if Pernell Whitaker was playing the role?
It would have been such a better show. Yeah, he's doing all the surgeries left-handed. The show ran on CBS for 7 seasons. This is back when there was only 3 channels, Ed. So a whole hour of
we would
one
just
night
be
a week.
White knuckling it through some rough Wednesday nights just so we could do it.
Yeah, unbelievable. Trapper John focuses on Dr. Trapper John McIntyre 28 years after his discharge from the 406. Oh, so that makes sense. Wayne Kravitz couldn't play him.
But that shows you how long ago this show took place because they wanted a show to take place or to focus on a guy who is 28 years removed from the Korean War. Like every other show would be like, hey, he graduated med school at 18. We need like the youngest possible guy.
Yeah, shouldn't he have been retired? And also, like, we talk about like the rebooting of things now. There's no new ideas. They reboot that Veronica Mars is back. They're rebooting everything. Well, the same shit. They're doing spin-offs. A Trapper John, 28 years later, he's living in San Francisco. He's dealing with patient zero in the AIDS crisis. Like, this is not a fucking yuck laugh a minute type of program.
But MASH,
tell me,
had canned laughter.
Yeah,
and they'd be in a tent in Korea. They'd be in a tent in Korea, and they'd be like, "I don't know if he's gonna make it." And they're like, "What the fuck was that show?"
It's crazy. It's crazy.
But
who else died? We're still doing the RIP segment.
RIP Bruce Leung, Kung Fu Hustle, Final Boss, 77. I remember my buddy when this movie came out. He's like, "You have got to see Kung Fu Hustle. It is amazing." And I watched it. And I was like, "The fuck was that movie?" It was terrible.
It's a good movie. What are you talking?
It was like Jackie Chan's 12th best movie. Like,
go back and watch it again. Go back and watch. No, you were in the. I was just about to say whatever happened to Kung Fu Hustle.
I was waiting until the movie ended because this was back in that Netflix mails you a DVD.
Yes, it was a mailed DVD.
I watched that, and I think I may have called my buddy, and I was like, "I'm putting this back in the mail. This piece of shit movie." This was like slapstick kung fu. It was
so
bad.
Good. It's so good. It's because it's like it's not what you expect. It keeps changing and shit gets more weird.
I was expecting myself to get into it at some point. I was like,
so good.
I can't wait to put this back in the mail in that little red envelope.
He did another one before that called Shaolin Soccer, which is the same. It's the same. It's the same premise, but it's in the world of Chinese soccer. Anyway, Kung Fu Hustle. This guy was in it.
R.I.P. Josh Morrow, former Cardinals, Giants, Raiders defensive end, 35, heart attack.
That's got to be a widowmaker situation right there.
Yeah,
or like
probably
too much
yayo.
Yeah, big dude. Probably got real big after football. You know how that goes.
You slid this one. David Allan Coe died?
Yeah.
Country singer, 86, legendary.
Yes. The last of the the
last outlaw.
The last literal outlaw. And I think a lot of his outlawdom was, self-made mythology, whatever, and he didn't seem like a very likable guy, but his songs were fucking amazing.
Yeah. And I like when I was in Nashville, I don't know, 5 years ago, I went to the Country Music Hall of Fame, and it was cool. They had different floors of like what was going on. And there was one floor that was like country outlaw, and it was Waylon Jennings and it was cool. Cash and there was a lot of cool shit with him. I'm not a country guy, but it was cool.
David Allan Coe, in his songs, he would always name check like the other outlaws that he respected, like Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings. And then he would also always include himself. He would always he would go, David Allan Coe.
Yeah. He was the Kid Rock of country music.
He kind of was, except his songs were good.
And then a guy died, John Sterling. He was a long time terrible Yankees radio broadcaster, 87 years old.
Yeah.
I am shocked by this in the sense that the Yankees are one of the premier teams of Major League Baseball, and New York City is one of the premier markets, if not the premier. And the Yankees, both their radio and television broadcasters are horrendous.
It's crazy.
And I get that I'm predisposed to hate the Yankees because I hate the Yankees, but I'm friends with Yankee fans who do not like the Yankee broadcasters.
How could they?
But like Michael Kay is terrible. Susan Waldman. This guy, John Sterling, he was famous for just going, "No, Yankees win." Yeah. And like, look, I don't want anyone to die. Like, I'm sure somebody lost their
super old, Ed.
Well, he never had a gray hair. Yeah. I noticed he kept that same weird brown color that nobody seems to have in real life, but all the Yankees broadcasters are horrendous. I don't get it.
This John Sterling, so I grew up listening to Vince Scully,
Vince Scully, again, I don't give a shit about the Dodgers. Yeah. I recognize the greatness of Vince Scully. The Yankees have no Vince Scullys in their mix.
Well, it's terrible. That Vince Scully called Dodger games for like almost 70 years and never referred to the team as we. It was always the Dodgers, and he just called it straight. And I thought all teams did that. But this John Sterling was the ultimate glazer. He's glazing the Yankees the whole time. An A-bomb from A-Rod. And it's like, and I'm like, can you do that? Can you just like openly root for the team? And now it's very common.
And it's all terrible.
Awful.
But I would point out that like, so I'm a Knicks fan, and the Knicks like local broadcast. Our local broadcaster is Mike Breen. He's fucking fantastic. Because New York should attract like one of the best. And then they're rolling out John Sterling and Michael Kay. These are terrible broadcasters. I don't get it. It's weird.
Somebody pointed out to me today, a friend of the show who'll go nameless, pointed out to me that John Sterling died as he was a lifelong bachelor. Who had a very tiny dog companion, and also was a
fire a couple of years ago.
Devotee of soap operas. Loved to watch soap operas as well. So it's R.I.P.
R.I.P. Never had a gray hair.
Never.
Congrats.
Okay, Ed. Let's talk some sports.
My name is Brian. They call me the other guy. I host a podcast show. I'll give hetero life a try. If you see something on my hands that makes you think I'm not a man, it's just my cool rings, you see. They're as sparkly as can be. A Rhino Joy on DVD.
Ed, this is a sports show. We talk sports here. What is going on in the world of sports this week?
Well, we talked about this last week, and I'm happy to report, last 2 weeks ago, I'm happy to report Mike Vrabel has returned to the Patriots facility.
Amazing.
After 2 days away, putting in the work with a counselor in Utah. He's back. He put in the work. Hey, how can I stop fucking someone other than my wife? All right, we're gonna have to get into this. Roll up the sleeves. We're like a weatherman during a hurricane. Like, we are rolling up the sleeves. We're gonna do what we have to do. we are putting in the work. And then he's like, okay, I missed the third round of the draft. All right, we're back. Let's go. I figured it out.
Good. It's fixed. Look, he took the team to the Super Bowl last year, Ed. Like, the guys seem to like him.
My relationship with my wife. This is about putting in the work.
Yeah, that's right. He's did what he needed to do. I saw somewhere that somebody found Diana Russini's a Spotify playlist.
That's the next story.
Oh, it is. Okay, yeah, go on. Well, I'm just happy for Mike Vrabel. Yeah,
good for him for putting in the work. But by the way,
Yeah.
Diana Russini made Mike Vrabel a Spotify playlist called Turning the Page when he was coach of the Titans and he had a 4-game losing streak. And that playlist makes you want to lose every game forever.
Yeah.
I think there was Black Eyed Peas.
Oh, man.
It was like some shit like Welcome to the Jungle, which, you know, whatever, fine.
Sure,
like,
but it's like not.
Who doesn't like that back in the day? But
Yeah.
But I think there was Black Eyed Peas. There was Styx. All right, so
Styx.
Def Leppard, Guns N' Roses, AC/DC, Motley Crue, Metallica.
Oh, she is from Jersey, Ed. Oh,
Bob
she's
Seger.
showing her roots. Oh, Bob Seger.
But also Kenny Chesney, Luke Combs, Kenny Rogers.
Yeah, Kenny Chesney.
Kenny Chesney.
I can't. Why isn't this?
You're trying to break the Titans out of a losing streak.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry's like, I got this big, thick dick. I don't need to hear Styx.
207
turn the page.
No. And you know, this Vrabel's like, oh yeah, this is a great play. Like, it got no spins. Ed. Like, this is not Vrabel's not playing. He's like,
no.
How about you spin your ass over here? You know, like that's let me fact check you.
And a Titans beat writer can said something like, "Oh, based on the practice report, whenever this was, we reported that they played Styx, Guns N' Roses, everything at practice. He was playing this while the guys are practicing. Like, this dude, I mean, come on. Russini's attractive enough, but like, what? But
she's Jersey hot.
But like, exactly. But like, what? You're making Derrick Henry listen to. This was probably what prompted AJ Brown to be like, I'm gonna force a trade out of here.
Yeah,
I'm trying to break out of a losing streak, and they're making me listen to Styx.
Styx, right now. Yeah. I mean, Styx is like, that's like my parents' era. Like,
how many young black men want to hear Styx to get them pumped up?
Zero.
None.
0.0. Have you seen the guys on Instagram that they go to bars and they go, it's time to find out, is this a bar or is it a Seeger bar? And then they go in and they order beer and they go, hey, would you mind putting some Bob Seger on the jukebox for me? And like half the time they're like, yeah, no problem. And half the time they're like, look, I told you last time when you came in here, we don't put on, this is the Buffalo Wild Wings. We don't have control of the music here.
That's awesome.
There's a lot of I thought that was
I heard a friend talk about this years ago, and then I did this one time, and I'm not super proud, but it was also very funny.
Yeah,
there was some jukebox that had I think his name something Esposito. It was "You're the Best" from Karate Kid.
Oh yeah,
we did $20 and just put "You're the Best" on over and over again, and just sat around at the bar. To see the reaction, people like
it just kept playing.
Joe Esposito, I believe it was, and they're like
the best around.
No, I think we heard that last.
Yeah,
what's going on? And you're just trying to stifle your laugh.
That's really funny. Eventually, that kind of backfires on you, though, because then you're sitting there listening to "You're the Best Around,"
and we had to leave. Yeah, but there were still like 6 plays to go, and we just left. Somebody was unplugging that jukebox.
Oh, that's funny. What else, Ed?
The New York Mets.
Yeah.
Have been a disaster since playing the song Kokomo after the death of Brian Wilson last season. Yeah. The record since the date he died, and they chose this to honor him. Like, I'm not the biggest Beach Boys fan.
Yes.
But if I'm honoring Brian Wilson, play fucking God Only Knows or something. You're going to play Kokomo, and they're like 40 and 75 since then, or something crazy.
Well, Kokomo is from post Brian Wilson era Beach Boys. He's not involved in Kokomo.
That's just straight up Mike Love and John Stamos.
It's just them trying to get money in the 80s. Look, the Mets deserve it. Fuck the Mets. You know, I see Bo Bichette pouting in the dugout. You know, it's very funny to me. Whatever.
I don't mind the Mets because I live in a Mets-Yankees town, and I fucking hate the Yankees. So I'm fine with the Mets, but man, these are dark times for Mets fans.
Yeah, fair.
What else? Chris Sims is hurt, as NBC has taken him off Sunday Night Football. Was there anyone tuning into NBC and like, I wonder what Chris Sims has to say.
Yeah, you turn it on and the game's on. You're like, hey, where the fuck's Chris Sims? I was hoping to get Chris Sims' take on. I didn't even know he was on there, Ed. Like, I've seen him.
Jack Collinsworth, JAC.
I think he's also been jettisoned. Thank God.
So.
Thank God they finally got rid of Tony Dungy, Ed.
But hopefully they're not done. Like, I'm hoping that I'm going to read Chris Collinsworth is gone and Mike Tirico is gone. They are like they always get premiere games, so I watch it sometimes.
You have to,
but they are all terrible.
Yeah,
especially Tirico.
Do you think when Tony Dungy was fired, he just quickly flapped his wings and returned to his perch at the top of a tall building somewhere?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So they can recreate the Ghostbusters building or something.
Yeah, they'll never get rid of Tirico. Tirico like runs that network, which is crazy because he sucks.
Aggressively bland.
He's so fucking boring. Like, I don't understand. No one's tuning in to watch Tirico.
He's a paisano.
He is. Maybe because he brings grandma's cannolis. You know, they're like, oh, we're gonna miss out. He brings all those trays of his mother's ziti in here. Like,
what's the man of God? Ex-Jets running back Le'Veon Bell accused former head coach Adam Gase of using cocaine at the facility. Everyone knew that. Now, Le'Veon Bell is like a troll. He's like a professional troll these days.
Yeah.
That being said, I remember Adam Gase's like first press conference, and his press conferences, he did not look like a man who wasn't doing cocaine.
Right. He's jacked up. He was fired up. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's like rubbing his gums and shit. And you're like, what's going on here?
I mean, it's the Jets, Ed. Like, it's hard to motivate. You know, there's Fireman Ed out there. You know, they're one of the shittiest teams. They had Aaron Rodgers there for a while. You know, it's like, do a little cocaine. It's New York.
Right. A little bumpski is not going to hurt anyone.
Do little bumps for the coaches. You know, they're working long hours. Just get it going, guys. No big deal.
Your most successful coach was fucking his wife's feet.
That's right. Oh, who could forget that? He was making videos. He was posting them on
super horny videos for his wife's feet hanging out the window of a car.
That was weird. And I feel like that happened like just like early enough in the internet. That was like pre-Twitter or just like early Twitter that it just wasn't. It didn't get as much run as it should have. Also, I think
he would lose his job if that happened today, because people would be like, "Hey, nobody talks about the team. They just want to talk about you fucking your wife's feet."
Yes. It's like if I were a reporter, I'd be asking about that every single day. Although I think Rex Ryan kind of like leaned into it, where he was like, "What? I like her feet. She has nice feet." You know, like it was like you couldn't really. He didn't deny it. You know,
of defensive coordinators,
right?
MAGA people attack Ben Stiller for tweeting "Got it done" after the Knicks beat the Hawks in a playoff game, thinking he was tweeting about the assassination attempt on Trump. Ben Stiller, I'm sorry, assassination in quotes.
Yes,
but Ben Stiller, like, there's something sweet about him with the Knicks. He just like he genuinely tweets about like just, hey, I hope we can hit more threes and shit like that. And he just wrote "Got it done" when they like finished the game out, and then MAGA people like, you're advocating an assassination, and it's like. He only tweets about the Knicks these days, like nothing else.
And also, like he would be the assassination attempt was unsuccessful, so that doesn't even make sense because he did not get it done. It was undone. Like, why would you say "got it done"?
A lot of people who are hoping that there's something that could be gotten done.
Right.
It's not that.
It didn't get done. It was undone, unfortunately. What else?
Whoa. I hit my. Warriors ownership is not happy with Steve Kerr's political activism.
Yeah.
You know, like when he said, I don't support like children dying and stuff like that. They're like, hey,
very controversial.
You know, stick to sports, buddy.
Yeah. And
he never says something like crazy, like, you know what I think about our tax laws? He just says stuff like, I don't like kids being shot in schools.
And he
stuff
says
like
it in response to questions. Like
yeah, they ask him, and he's the one
he's
fucking
honest. Yeah.
like NBA guy who's like, I'd rather stick to basketball questions. Like they ask him, how do you feel about the latest school shooting? And he's like, I hate it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what's with this activism?
Yeah. I would say Popovich was more outspoken, you know, like he would go out of his way.
That's his mentor.
Yeah.
Popovich.
Right. Yeah.
Like
good guys. Yeah.
Good guys. They just kind of have opinions about not wanting kids to die.
Yes. Yeah. That is very controversial opinion, Ed. Like that's
Stop
crazy.
being so active.
It's crazy thoughts that they have. Okay, Ed, let's do some emails, voicemails.
He's so easy to hate. Your time he likes to waste. His calls are far from great. His calls are far from great. He's such a stupid fuck. He seems down on his luck. His voicemails really suck. His voicemails really suck. No one's enjoying him. He's so annoying. Plus so fucking boring and worthless, but he's got nothing else to do. And he's even worse than ish. His thoughts are useless shit. He's fat and got big tits. He's Manuel in Gardenia. Whoa, he's Manuel.
Okay, got some voicemails here.
Hey, fellas, what's up? It's Dave in Salt Lake for work.
Oh, Dave.
Hey, Dave.
Calling the BLWH a little bit late. I'm sorry, I was just checking traffic here. Trying to get in this grocery store for it close. Anyway.
Yeah.
Before
it closes. The grocery store closes like 11 o'clock at night. Dave, you're fighting a cancer battle, buddy. Like, you go home and go to bed. Like, what are you doing? And what are you doing this late at the grocery store? Although it's Salt Lake City, so they might have different rules.
Great Afro Man.
Oh,
yeah,
Afro Man.
no doubt. He's awesome. Do you guys remember, though, an even bigger legend, in my opinion?
Oh.
And that is the Helicopter Man.
The guy who flew.
You guys don't remember or don't know.
Is that the guy who swung his dick around?
Oh, that's Meatspin?
No, I don't know.
Meatspin.com. It would just be a guy doing a helicopter.
I don't know that one.
When a buddy used to leave his laptop out, we would just put meatspin.com, so we'd open it up. It was just a guy doing a helicopter.
I'm typing that in to see if that's still.
I don't know if it's still. I'm talking 15 years ago.
I do not watch. Hold on. Oh, it's actually links to like
It used to be. It was of the time of Two Girls, One Cup and Lemon Party and stuff like that. It was old school internet.
Who here remembers meatspin.com? Okay. Clearly Ed does.
Oh, this would be like, we're about the same age. My dad hid his porn tapes.
Oh, yeah.
Behind the books in the living room and the library.
In the
put the magazines under the, wherever they put them, between the box spring and the mattress. But the great,
classic hiding spot.
Legendary Helicopter Man was a black man, and what he would do is he would have these girls up in the high up in the air, their butts.
Oh, their butts.
And he would like go straight up like a teeter-totter, back and forth, and he would clap to get his momentum and start swinging. He would start swinging for real.
I don't know anything about
it was like literally the most amazing thing because he had a big old dong.
That was a given. That was a given.
I don't know how these girls were not screaming, but he would start spinning, and it looked like a helicopter was going to take off. So anyway, check out the legendary Helicopter Man. I hope you got your gifts, you guys. I'm sorry it took 3 or 5 years to get them to you.
No worries, buddy. I made some wings. Yeah. I made some wings with that sauce.
I doubt the Helicopter Man is still alive. I probably should have looked that up, but
he's like Wood.
Yeah. Barry Wood.
He's a legend. He's a legend. And Great podcast, fellas. I love you both.
Love
and I'll
you
be in
too.
touch.
Love you too, man.
And
Love you,
thanks
David.
For your wishes as always. I love you both.
You're the best.
See ya.
Look, I'll be honest. I didn't think I would. I mean, I appreciated the Guy Fieri wing sauce that you sent me, and I was like, how good can a wing sauce be? You know, like how special can it be that I made some wings with that wing sauce? That's a great wing sauce. I'll tell you what, it's got a tang to it. There's a tang, and I love the tang.
I haven't used it.
Do you love a tang? Are you a tang man?
This coming weekend to make them.
Well, if you love tang, I love tang. There's nothing I love more than tang, and this Guy Fieri sauce has a tang to it. I don't know about Helicopter Man, Ed, because there's since been another Helicopter Man who is a TikToker, but who he apparently was. It has been part of the influencer aside because he died. Marquay Collins died in November 2025 at age 24. Yikes. Known online as Helicopter Man, was a popular TikTok content creator known for comedic skits, high performance cars, and food
I'm
reviews.
guessing comedic in quotes because most of these influencer comedic skits are not funny.
Oh, well, I'll tell you right now, Ed. He gained fame for his unique energy, helicopter hands, dance moves.
Oh, no.
And along with his mother, Sonia Collins, appeared in content often supported by Hulu. I mean, look, it sounds like, doesn't sound like it was for us. Okay, another one. Skip that one. I did that one. I did Darbo's call on the bonus bri. Here's another one.
Hey, fellas, what's up?
It's David Salt Lake.
This doesn't wake anybody up at the BLWH stage in Salt Lake. Yeah, I got a lot to say about. I knew this Mike Vrabel thing was going to turn into something bigger.
He's got some
it
insight.
wasn't when he came out. I can't tell if he's kind of a meathead. He's kind of a meathead, but he's kind of smart. And he's like, I'm not taking any more questions. Storms off, and then
he's smart for a meathead.
Was, that's fucking ridiculous. It doesn't warrant an answer. Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Oh, also, he said, what did he say recently? And I really do feel for the guy and his family. Well, I feel for his family.
Well, but he did the shit to his family.
And her husband as well.
Right.
I feel worse for that guy.
Yeah, he's been, Ed, this man's been cucked. He's been cucked.
I think I read he's a Shake Shack executive.
Yeah. So it means he's getting cucked around the office, Ed. Yeah. He's
an exec. He's a good looking guy.
Yeah, handsome.
But he's not a middle linebacker. Like he's not big and thick.
Now, and it's one thing, Ed. Like, look. Your lady tells you, she's like, I'm sorry. Like I was at work and this NFL coach, he came on to me and I was overwhelmed because he's this very charismatic athlete guy. And it got the best of me and I fucked him. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I fucked him. She fucked him for like 6 years.
Right. There's images of him March 11th, 2020, gripping her knees in a bar
pre-pandemic
in New York City.
Yeah.
It's time to cut this loose.
They weren't exactly hiding it, Ed.
Right.
They were out and about.
Oh, the reporter, I don't mean to call her that. I just can't remember her first name, but
Diana Russini.
This is ridiculous. This is a girls' trip, but he goes,
with no other.
What did he say? He's like, I'm not going to entertain any questions. But my family needs me this weekend, so that's where I'm going to be. Well, let me ask you this, Mike Vrabel.
Tell us.
If you weren't caught, would your family, quote unquote, need you this week? So that's where
did your family need you when you were balls deep in Sedona?
Are you just sad you got caught? I mean,
I bet you missed your kids' jujitsu or dance recital.
I don't know. He comes off kind of fake to me.
Yes,
he does. But I tell you what, I always root
Spit
for
it
people,
out. We got to move on.
hope they can fix their marriages.
I agree. No, I'm with you, buddy.
I hope everyone finishes happy, but
yeah,
if I'm his wife, hey, there's a pattern here. It's time to clean you out in the divorce. It's 6 years.
Yeah, he's making big money. He's making big money.
I'm gonna say something about marriage and stuff.
You've been married a long time.
Fatherhood.
Yeah.
I like to think I'm a good dad.
Sure.
Like to think I'm a good husband.
Yeah.
I think there has never been a 2-day stretch where my family needed me. Ever. Ever. Like if I just was not around for 2 days. No, but for 2 days, my family would be just fine. Even when they were 3.
Yeah.
Now they're teenagers. Nobody needed me for 2 days where I had to go to hardcore counseling and I can't do the draft because nobody has needed me for a specific 2 days.
Yeah, they could get by without you for a couple days.
In general, I'd like to think I'm adding to their life and their emotional well-being. There's never been a 2-day stretch where I was needed. Never.
Yeah.
Never.
I would have to agree with that. Here's another one.
Yo, B. I know you are a music connoisseur and you're heavily into the arts. And
that's right.
What I wanted to know is, did you go to Stagecoach and watch Chet Hanks?
Oh, Chet.
That's all I want to know.
Did you see Chet Hanks was performing on one of the side stages and his dad, Tom,
he's doing like some media push again. He's back.
Yeah, he's back. Chet got some big fake teeth. Now look, I feel like Rita and Tom, like when Chet came out, he was real slippery, and they were, oh shit, oh fuck, I dropped him again, like I last time you dropped, this one's on me. We dropped the baby. Stop dropping the baby because, he seems like a sweet guy. A friend of mine told me she used to work with him at Fred Siegel, which is like a high-end department store here in LA. Yeah. He worked in the shoe department. And I go, what was he like? And she goes, oh, he was really loud. And you could see that. You could see old Chet being real loud out there.
Anyone who saw those early COVID videos of Rita Wilson rapping at us, you can tell that. You can tell the loudness.
Apple
Tom
tree.
Hanks, American treasure.
Sure.
And she's been in some good stuff, I'm sure. I think she's been in some.
She produced My Big Fat Greek Wedding, I think, Ed. She's Greek.
Yeah. Attractive, everything, but there's a lot of her. She
wrapped that OPP right to the camera.
That's what it was.
Ed. It was OPP.
Like we were
New
just
Jersey's
trying to find out if we're gonna die because they were stuck in an Australian hospital, and she starts rapping OPP at us, and we're like, "What?"
Yeah, we're coming off the high of the Tiger King. We're riding the high of the Tiger King right into Rita Wilson doing OPP,
and we've got a treasure in the balance, Tom Hanks.
Yeah,
and we're like, "Is everything gonna be okay?" And she's rapping OPP at us.
OPP. It was so worse than more uncomfortable than Chet's ever made me, even when he displayed his new veneers that he got.
Long story short, I'm giving him a pass for a lot of stuff because I still love Tom Hanks, but I see what the mom has been showing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because he has the other guy, Colin. He's got him with the different mom. Yeah. He seems he's making documentaries.
More adjusted.
Yeah, he's out there doing his thing. Seems fine.
Yeah.
I want to say that I am reminded, though, because he brought up Stagecoach. I saw just a couple days ago, and I would like to take credit for this. Post Malone, a.k.a. Posty, has canceled the first month of tour dates he had scheduled with Jelly Roll. He was doing a co-headlining shows with Jelly Roll.
And he's like, this guy?
Yeah, exactly. Like, we're in the same class of musician? Me and Jelly Roll? I don't think so. Also, it's my understanding that he says he had to finish an album, but it's really, and a lot of people are canceling shows these days because people don't have money. People don't have money, so they're not going to concerts, Ed. And so tickets weren't selling. Nobody's going because they don't got no money.
That'll do it.
Yep. Okay. And also, they probably saw the rant that we did here, and that we posted to Instagram. So that got popular.
Fair.
Okay, here's another one.
Hey guys, Super Lee, just calling in. Say, well, I know it's been a minute since I called in last.
Bluetooth.
I can't say justice was done in that Kyle's murder was found guilty, because that's not justice. That's just him dying, a horrible death.
Yeah,
I don't know when that will happen soon.
You're breaking up there, Lee. He's talking about our dear friend Kyle Enscani, who was the victim a couple years back of the heinous, senseless murder, and the perpetrator has been brought to justice. So I just hope
that's good.
Kyle's family is able to move on from this as best they can. Like they're great people.
Anyone who's listening, scroll back. I don't know the numbers, but the show where we remembered the great Kyle.
I think it's called Our Friend Kyle.
Yeah, you put together a bunch of clips of him, and he was the best. One of the more delightful people ever. And I used to text you on the side because he would have our number and he would just text us videos. Yeah. And I was always so excited to hear him because he was the best. I'm honored that I was part of his life at some point.
I totally agree with you. He had just the lightest, warmest, was just a fun loving, just happy go lucky individual. And we were blessed to have him in our orbit, and we are very, very sorry that he's gone, and we will miss him forever.
Yeah.
That's it for the regular show. We'll wrap up here. Patreon listeners, please continue listening. Non-Patreon listeners, we will check in with you guys next time.
Well, it's time for non-sports segment on the Baller Lifestyle Podcast. Non-sports. I'm talking about the segment now. Non-sports segment.
Look, I forgot to read.
I see one email. I
forgot to read Toe Cutter's email. Let's save it for next week.
All right, save it for next week.
It needs to go out on the whole show.
Or in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, whatever. But don't let me forget.
Because I actually have a story that I wonder if Toe Cutter was a part of. Yeah, I went to high school with Toe Cutter, by the way.
This is high school.
Yeah.
Could be. Look, I have thoughts on this. I skimmed it. I have thoughts. Ed, what is going on in the world of things that are not sports?
A big story a couple days ago was JPMorgan was hit with this big sexual harassment suit, this bombshell suit, and it was branded a complete fabrication by the investment bank, which you would think they'd do. Because
of course they'd say that. Yeah.
The JPMorgan staffer who filed the lawsuit has been identified as Shirayu Rana. Yeah. The complaint said he was used as a sex slave, and the woman, his boss, she grabbed her chest and said, "Hey, does your little Asian fish head wife, does she have these cannons?"
That doesn't sound like anything that a woman.
It sounds like a Wall Street dude saying this, but holes were shot through the story when just basic stuff like he didn't report to her. Yeah, and then his lawyer pulled the lawsuit, and it was not a good look. And then I just saw today, JPMorgan's like, "Oh, you're gonna try to besmirch us. We have all of the money to go after you."
Yeah.
And they documented that he took time out for bereavement for his dad. And then the New York Post interviewed his dad today for a story today.
Yeah.
His dad didn't even die. He has a lot of lies. And also, I think it should be pointed out, the sex slave, the woman looks like an attractive version of Diana Russini.
Yes. Yeah.
And he looks like the South Asian, He looks like the South Asian Where's Waldo without the glasses on.
Yeah.
He's got that dopey smile. Nobody's looked at that guy and like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you my sex slave.
He looks like one of the goons from Goon Island and on Popeye. And he looks like he's got goonism. He's been gooned, is what he looks like.
It's not a good look.
Like,
and also his wife just took strays. Like, I've got a fish head and small cannons.
Yeah, made that up.
Like, what the fuck?
He made that up.
He made up an insult that someone said about his wife, and it was just him making it.
Yeah, that is so fucked up. That is very fucked up.
Just leave your wife rather than put her in the news for being a fish head with small cannons.
Yeah, especially when you're looking like a goon from Goon Island. Like, look, there was a movie, Ed. I think it was Demi Moore. Disclosure. And she's like, Michael Douglas, you're gonna come to my office and you're gonna suck my fucking clit.
Fuck my brains out.
Yeah. And you're like, first of all, you're like, how come this never happened to me? Okay.
Right.
No one ever forced me to have sex with him.
Let alone Demi Moore.
Yeah, and it's Demi Moore. But look, this Michael Douglas, he's beautiful. And what do we know about him?
We know he's a giver.
He's a giver.
Word is out.
He goes down there.
He'll do what he needs
doing
to
work.
do.
He does it all.
TV be damned.
This guy comes out with a lawsuit, and it's kind of believable because you don't know what he looks like.
And then JPMorgan's like, let me just show you what he looks like before you brand someone a sex slave.
Because this JPMorgan, there's probably a bunch of like hunky dudes from Princeton crew. Like ex-volleyball players and whatnot, water polo dudes that if somebody was going to sexually harass them, they'd pick one of the hot ones.
Right. Instead, they take the South Asian, Where's Waldo? And they're like, no, this guy is not a sex slave.
Bad look, Chirayu. Not a good look for you at all. And what's her name? This chick, her ticket's punched at JPMorgan. Like this, you think she's ever going to get passed over for another fucking promotion?
No.
She's on the fucking fast track. Good for her. It's the best thing that ever happened to her.
And congrats on the big cannons.
Yeah.
Because I assume
must be true. Yeah.
I'm sure that's true.
I know. Who calls them cannons? Like this I kind of like it. Would not write that, I do.
I know a woman wouldn't like it, but I'm like kind of into it.
So,
we didn't include this in the RIP because this is a happy one. Millionaire U.S. big game hunter, 75 years old, was trampled to death by 5 elephants while hunting antelope in Central Africa. So, they always talk about the elephants. Don't forget, they're like, that's a fucker. He's that shitty dentist, right?
He shot Ted. It's like I remember him. But look, an elephant, it might not have been this guy, but they knew some other white man that pissed him off, and they're like, oh, well, look, let's get one.
Fuckers are. You cannot. When I see an elephant at the zoo, I'm always like, holy shit.
Why are they even at zoos?
Who is rounding these things up to put them in a zoo?
No. I saw a clip.
Oh, the rhino shitting everywhere?
No, it was a hippo. It
wasn't a rhino. It was a hippo.
It was a hippo turned its ass and just sprayed some kids.
Yeah.
And there was a little thing that's like, don't stand too close. And there was, it was like sectioned off, but obviously their shit sprays further than the section.
I've said this before. My dad, when I was a kid, didn't like zoos. And he said, I wish all zoos would leave one door open. So people would be like, hey, I'm not sure if it's the lion or the peacock today.
Yeah.
So people wouldn't go to zoos.
It's pretty funny.
But I used to love the zoo when I was a kid. And as an adult, I'm just bummed out. I mean, I went to the San Diego Zoo about 5 years ago and I was like, it's fucking spectacular.
It's pretty nice.
But there's something just bumming me out about zoos.
Yeah.
Why does an elephant need to be hanging out?
They shouldn't.
In some random town.
No.
Just let them be.
Yeah, they roam hundreds of miles, these animals, and you put them in a little enclosure.
Nothing sadder than when I took my boys after we watched Madagascar. I took them to the Central Park Zoo, and it was 100 degrees. and there was a polar bear just all sad in the Central Park Zoo, and I was like, this is not what they want.
I've seen that at the San Diego Zoo, where it's like, I'm like, this is not their climate. They got a fur coat on.
Yeah.
Boy, you look at a polar bear though, Ed. Polar bear's like twice the size of a grizzly bear. And a grizzly bear's a giant fucking monster. A grizzly bear's the one that butt fucked Leonardo in that one movie. Like, it's like massive.
That's right.
They're like 1,200 pounds. A fucking a goddamn polar bear is like 10, 11 feet tall when it's
well. The whole thing is, but if it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lay down. If it's white, good night. Like they will.
Yes,
they are going to kill you because they actually are hunting you.
Yeah. They want to eat.
They're not going to be confused into anything. They will kill you.
I was watching one of those nature things on Instagram where all these walruses, they like hang out but there's polar bears around. So these walruses climb up to like the top of this bluff but there's like thousands of walruses all laying on top of each other. And the polar bear goes, I'll just walk up there and get one of these fucking, and they're fucking diving off cliffs, dude. They're pushing each other out and they're like breaking their necks and shit, trying to get away from the polar bear. You don't fuck with a polar bear. You just don't. Yeah.
Director and producer of the Michael Jackson biopic made an extra $25 million to remove child sex abuse allegations. I can't remember if I said this. This is not my joke, but somebody pointed out that I think I read it on Instagram. They said having the Michael Jackson biopic end with bad in 1988 is like having the O.J. Simpson story end with him winning the Heisman Trophy.
Right.
How is there a movie that doesn't address like the main thing about the final 30 years of his life? 20 years of his life.
Whole picture. You know, but I believe this was produced by the Jackson family. This is that tracks. This is like when Michael Jordan made that documentary about himself, and then there was a whole section of the documentary about the time Scottie Pippen refused to go into a playoff game against the Knicks.
Jordan was in the minor leagues.
Yeah, Jordan wasn't even on the team when it happened.
All right, that's fucked.
He just wanted to fucking throw some shit. Jordan was the hippo, and fucking Scottie Pippen was the little kid that was looking at the hippo, and Jordan just took a big shit on Scottie Pippen.
Yeah,
so fucked up.
Yeah, I have zero desire to watch that. Like none.
Oh, I know. You hate Michael Jordan.
No, I was talking about the Michael Jackson.
Oh, Michael Jackson. Yeah, me either. Yeah, no, neither. Yeah.
And even if they added the kid touching, no more. I think I'm done with all biopics.
I am too, Ed. It's like, it kind of bums me out.
I like that Johnny Cash one where he's dealing with drugs and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's got like really good actors, but like overall, how many of these do we have to see?
You know what?
Done.
The Doors one was good because Val, he became the dude. He sang the songs.
But keep in mind that was like 30 years ago. That was a long,
it was.
We've been given so many biopics, and we've pointed to one that was 20 years ago and another one that was 30 years ago. No more.
Yeah. Well, thank God. You bit the bullet and you went and saw that Elton John one, and
I walked out.
You rushed back here and reported to me that you're like, hold up, were you thinking about seeing that? And I'm like, yeah. And you're like, FYI, it's a musical. And I went,
he's on the gurney after a drug overdose, and all of a sudden he turns. He's like, she packed my bag last night. I'm like, what? What?
No.
He's singing? What?
No, people were glazing the Freddie Mercury one. That thing was horrible. The guy had a big fake teeth in there. He's 5'6". Freddie Mercury was like 6'3". Like, what are we doing?
The best thing about Freddie Mercury that I've learned in the last couple of years was that picture of him in bed with like 12 dudes
that all look like Freddie Mercury.
Are all just big, muscular mustache dudes. I'm like, that dude. Look, the end part was tough.
Sure,
that dude knew how to cash in on being a gay rock star.
He had a good time. Yeah, he would have like cocaine parties where all
lots
the
of
coke
cocaine
would be served by midgets. Look, guy knew how to have a good time.
Great.
And what a voice!
great.
What a talent!
One of the great frontmen of all time.
All time, 100% agree.
South African police officer was lowered into crocodile-infested river to recover human remains.
I mean, this made me think of you. Like remains. Like what? Why we need the remain? Why the fucking?
It's not a live
crocked.
person.
Yeah,
there wasn't somebody
an update on who's alive. Yeah,
help!
He's dead.
He's dead.
It reminded me one time, Ed, of this. I was listening to This American Life.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where it's not even video, and it's like so upsetting that you can't even pay attention. Like you want to turn it off. It was a story about these dudes that they explore underwater caves. They do scuba.
The guy that Musk called a pedo.
No. That was the Thai. That was the Thai soccer team. Yeah, but similar. These guys would go for fun, Ed. They would scuba. And I'm out on scuba. I'm out on I could be in the Bahamas. There could be 100 feet visibility. I'm not doing scuba.
I'm not. It's been many years. I like a good snorkel with some tropical fish.
Fun. Love it.
Like
warm water.
It's not a big commitment. You just
beautiful. Yeah.
Like I like that, but I don't need to go way down. No. I don't need. I've seen Thunderball. I can see how you can be killed down there. I don't want that.
You snorkel around, and you know, right back over here, there's a cooler of beer on the boat. And you go, I'm going to go snorkel around for a little bit, and then I'm going to get back to the real exploration of the deeps, the depths of that igloo up there. That's what I'm going to do.
Sure.
These guys, they were cave explorers, Ed, in scuba. So they would go down and they would scuba in caves where there was you couldn't see anything.
So it's like too dark.
So what are you even exploring? And then, so they go down there and they would make a rope line, and they would just follow the line. But if you lose that line, Ed, so they go down there.
You don't even know which way's up.
You don't know which way's up. So they go down there. Wouldn't you know it? They fucking lose their buddy, and he fucking dies. So then they go, and then one guy goes, "It's my mission. I'm going to go down there. I'm going to bring Dave back. I got to bring Dave back. Dave's dead.
Dave's dead, and you could die in the mission to get Dave.
Guess what, Ed? Spoiler alert. He goes down there to get fucking Dave. He fucking dies. What are we doing? What are we doing with these bodies, guys? What are we worshiping? What are we worshiping the fucking vessel for? It's not being used anymore.
So we discussed this yesterday, and I pointed out Edie Mean fed too many people to the crocs. Crocs get tired of eating at some point.
Well, that's wondering about.
Leave the remains. Just leave them.
I was wondering about that because how is there a body left? A crocodile's 15 feet long.
Yeah, if
they're huge.
Enough. Edie Amin proved if there are too many political enemies, eventually the crocs are like, hey, listen, come on. Yeah. Give me something.
How about a chicken? How about a chicken? You're serving us dissident. All we're getting is dissident. We've had enough dissidents. Yeah.
Hey, would it kill someone for a little pollo?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. What about a little suckling pig?
Granted, I know I'm thousands of miles from Spanish-speaking country, but I just thought I would spice it up by calling it pollo.
We got a raccoon. There any raccoons around here?
Awesome. Anything.
All we're getting all day long is political dissident down here.
A Taco Bell worker shot at customers after one of them tried to fill the water cup with soda. And look,
I thought everybody did that.
I thought that was done, but also, look,
guys,
sometimes I get fired up when people don't pay attention to the rules.
Yeah.
Because society functions on rules.
Yeah.
I kind of like that this guy was a stickler to the rules, even though I hate gun violence.
He was armed at work at Taco Bell.
I think he was working through some other stuff because, why would you show up with a piece at Taco Bell?
Yeah,
like
it's true.
I mean, how many chalupas are going to put you over the edge?
Yeah. Do you think? Yeah.
He was just looking for something. He's like, okay, there's a violation.
Totally.
Water.
Yeah. He's
Water
waiting.
cup.
He's been waiting to shoot somebody, Ed. He's been waiting this whole time.
And he's working through something like
yeah.
The water cup soda just was an incidental thing that set him off.
Speaking of Michael Douglas, Ed, this could be Falling Down Part 2. This could be.
Oh. I thought you were going to say he went down on somebody and got HPV. No.
He could have. Yeah. And they got it at Taco Bell. He was just waiting. And this is the thing that set him off. You know, remember defense, Michael Douglas, he gets set off.
Well, he hated the McDonald's cutoff on the breakfast.
Yeah, it's like 10:31 and he wanted breakfast, you know? He's going for the breakfast.
We'll stay with the fast food. Former Texas Chick-fil-A employee was charged $80,000 refund scheme using mac and cheese. Now, I get fast food, you're nickel and diming.
Yeah.
80,000 seems like a stretch for mac and cheese.
Too much. It's too much. I look, I'm not proud to admit this. I'm not ashamed to admit it either. Me and some friends, we would have these scams going at jobs that we had back in the day. And one of my buddies, he was a barista, and he was scamming big time. And the problem is that he let or other people figured out the scam, and then everybody's scamming, and all of a sudden they're like, we sold $8 in coffee today. Like, there's too much scamming going on. You can't completely scam. You know, you take a taste. You don't take the whole pie.
I had a friend of a friend of a friend type thing who was working 7-Eleven. Yeah. And we would get all the porn mags that we wanted if you tore off the front page, because those are the things you return. So we just, like, for a couple months, we just had all the penthouses without. And penthouses pretty gross.
Whoa, speak for yourself, fucking
I like a taste.
Harry Racolta over here. Like, what? I love a thouse.
Or maybe not. Maybe not thouse. No, it was Hustler was like, it was a bit much.
Yeah, but Jerry Falwell over here lecturing me on what's the good mags.
Yeah. No.
Hustler was a little rough. That's
now this scam. I actually believe the cost. The Irvine Pasta Bandit was accused. This guy's genius.
I saw
swapping Lego sets for noodles in a $34,000 scheme. Yeah. Anyone who's bought Lego sets for their kids,
unbelievable.
You realize this $34,000 scheme was like 11 schemes.
Yeah, it was
so expensive.
Yeah. Dude, just a little thing is like $100. Like it's insane. And you put it together in like an hour, and then you're done.
My son was really into this, and he wanted the Hogwarts set, which is their biggest set ever.
Oh, yeah.
And we got it for Christmas. But like that thing was, I think it was like $300, $200 something, crazy expensive.
Oh yeah, Rory had the Millennium Falcon. I spent a whole fucking Christmas with him putting that Millennium. Man, it was nice. You know, like
it's sweet, but like
had the TIE fighter.
Expensive. I kind of respect this guy's like, I'll give you some Orachetti in a bag.
So but it was just the figs, because there's this whole cottage industry where people like customize the minifigs, Ed, and then they sell them online.
Wait, it's just the minifigs?
That's what I read. Yeah, because this is
$34,000 is a big scam.
You don't want if you're doing crime, I'll tell you where you don't want to do it is Irvine, California. Yeah, they're
home of the anteaters.
Yes, exactly. Go Eaters. Okay, hold on. Irvine Pasta Bandit. Hold on. A Southern California man's alleged brick hustle has landed him behind bars after police say he pulled off a bizarre pasta-filled scam targeting Lego sets. According to Irvine police, 28-year-old Paramount resident Jarrell Augustine was arrested Tuesday. Okay, hold on. Authorities say at least 70 times, racking up $34,000 in stolen goods nationwide. Yeah, it's the guys, Ed. He did it well. Police allege Augustine purchased Lego. Oh, he would return them, Ed. Purchased boxed Lego sets.
Yeah, you return them with pasta in there.
But just removed the valuable minifigures and select pieces, then stuff the packages with dried.
I kind of respect it.
Durham wheat semolina pasta before return. I actually love this, Ed. But the problem is he dipped too hard. Like he was.
Right. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He flew too close to the sun.
He did.
All right.
Did. Yeah.
To wrap it up, we got a couple stories about an industry we both love so much.
Yeah.
A woman plunged to her death from a balcony on a Carnival cruise ship near Catalina Island.
Probably wasn't pushed by her husband.
No.
She was. There's two options here, Ed, that we know. She was either murdered by a known assailant or an unknown assailant. There's only two choices. One of them was going to happen.
Somebody had a bone to pick.
Right.
Whether it was women in general or her husband.
Somebody threw her off the side. Okay. All right.
American travel blogger was trapped on the doomed cruise and is speaking out about the virus deaths.
Yeah, Ed, because
People are dying once again.
What else do I say? You're either going to get a known illness or an unknown illness. In this case, it's kind of both because it's fucking. They got hantavirus, Ed. You remember hantavirus?
Yeah, isn't this like rats?
Yes, it's four corners disease, Ed. It's spread by deer mice.
Oh my God.
And there's rats on the ships. And that's along with the fat people because there's so much food. The rats are eating the food. You know what it is. Okay, Ed, we did it. Ed's got a Knicks game to watch. The Knicks are in the playoffs. Who are they playing in the playoffs? Oh, the Sixers. Joel Embiid is back. Tyrese Maxey.
He's great.
He's great. Okay, let's wrap it up there. For Ed Daly, my name is Brian Beckner. This has been episode number 617 of the Ball Lifestyle Podcast. We're talking about cruises. We're doing it up. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Check out Bonus Bry coming up this week. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.